Welcome back, everyone. It's the Ausmerican Aces Golf Show powered by PointsBet, and we have the man of the moment, Dommy Tyson, back in the building after tipping the winner of the Masters. And we also have Forbesy, who's just been everywhere. He's meant to be running the show at PointsBet, but he's been running it in Singapore and Malaysia or wherever you're playing golf. But gentlemen, it's good to have you back in the studio.
Oh, Traino, great to be back, mate. Love talking golf with yourself and Forbesy. And yeah, got the hot hand after the prediction for Rory.
Did you keep any receipts?
Oh, wow. Stephen May's obviously gone after Gorney on field and then a bit of a keyboard warrior on Instagram for me. And he said, "You are joking." And I think you actually defended me, but I just let my results do the talking and stuff you, Maisie.
Forbesy, good to see you, mate.
Yeah, good to be back. Little holiday golf trip with the boys through Southeast Asia for 10 days. So just getting myself mentally right for a big US Open.
How'd the lower back go, mate? Did it hold up?
It survived. Only just a few massages throughout the trip, I think, kept me in check.
Down. Oh, there you go. No. Well, we'll keep moving. Because I had a joke to say, but we're going to keep it professional. It's the US Open. It's 2025, and we're going to be breaking it all down on the pod today. Boys, give me the details on this. There's a full field, the cut. What is it about the US Open? Why is it the ultimate test, fellas? Why do you love this one so much?
Yeah, we can run through a bit of the criteria and everything about Oakmont, but in its purest form, it's just an ultimate test of golf. You won't see a winner at 20 under. You'll see double bogeys. You'll see them hit spots on the green that they've designed to hit, and the ball will be 40 feet to separate from where that spot was. So they've got to keep their cool. We need the big boys to deliver. Generally, the top five in the world generally show up at the US Open, because they've got their A game. There's no obvious flaws, but it's great to watch, mate. You generally get a few dummy spits, and what do you think, Forbesy?
Yeah, it's for people that love golf. It's that ultimate. You can sit down, watch, and really see the best players in the world struggle against these courses that they don't go out and, as Dommy said, they're not shooting 15, 16 under. They're even par or maybe slightly better or worse for a winning score for a tournament. So sort of relates it back to us a little bit, watching him hack it out from long rough and struggle to make pars and bogeys. It's the ultimate test of golf, and it really separates the best players in the world.
All right, well, let's jump into the US Open 2025. I want you to talk to me about how you make the cut and this course they're playing on and why it's so prestigious.
Yeah, we can roll through this. So it's a full field of 156 players. Top 60 in ties will make the weekend, so you really do need your A game, Forbes.
Yeah, you got to be playing well from Thursday. There's no I can post a score. It's not the sort of course where you can go out and do that. It's about minimising the damage early and staying in contention.
Yeah, and to qualify, so you've got to be in the top 60 in the World Golf World Rankings by June 9th. Top 3 players in live, so that's obviously an addition in the last few years. Tommy, we've had a few pronunciation issues in the last time, but who were we talking about for your man who's...
Knee man.
The knee man.
Keep it simple.
Have we got the first name as well? Or?
No, I'll let you handle his first name. I'm staying away from that one.
So I think he's won 4 of the last 8 starts on live.
Yeah, he's on fire.
He's on fire, and he was a tip that we all liked for the Masters, and he didn't get there in the end, but he's someone that, it's a bit like your horse, Forbes. You're back at one week, you go easy the next week, and then it bolts in. You should just stick with him.
Look, he's pure talent. He hasn't quite delivered in majors yet, but it's a matter of, when, not if, isn't it?
That's probably the only knock on him is he just hasn't quite done it in the big tournaments, and he's dominating the live field. He's $29 to take it out with us at PointsBet at the moment, which I think isn't the worst, but again, he just hasn't quite done it on the ultimate stage yet.
Keep going with the course, Tommy.
Tommy, we're obviously at Oakmont Country Club, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. 210 bunkers are on the course. There's no water hazards, massive greens for square meterage or square yards. Par 70, only 2 par 5s. So most courses carry 4 par 5s, which are better chances to score.
Yeah, it's another one of the sort of those reasons that the winning score isn't going to be a long way under. The pros really attack and score well on the par 5s. Only having 2, you have to play the par 5s well.
And Tommy, I don't know how well Rick's is going, but if you've got a lazy 200K lying around, that's your joining fee for Oakmont Country Club.
Is that right? Just to sign up
US as well.
And you boys are golf tragics. Like, is that one of the courses you'd love to play, just one round?
It'd be too hard, mate, for hacks like us. We'd want to go and enjoy our golf. So.
Is it that hard, this course, fellas? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it is. It's long, it's demanding. There's a par 3 that's 289 yards, which at the public courses that we generally hack it around at, that's a par 4. So it's the sort of course that is just, it chews you up and spits you out.
That's a long par 3. Like, how many people are birdieing that on this, in this Open, you reckon?
There'll be a handful, and it'll be luck, not skill, that causes that birdie to an extent. It's just it's a sort of hole that if you make 3 on, you walk away very happy.
Yeah, they're probably hitting 3 woods in, just aiming for middle of that green and try to 2-putt, get out of there.
Yeah, right. So you're not going to see a lot of birdies on them unless you're Big Bryson just going for it.
Well, he might be able to throw something less than a 3-wood in, which is an advantage for Bryson, and we'll get right into that. But the other interesting fact about this course, mate, it's got the famous church pew bunkers. So there's over 100 yards, 40 yards wide, and they're littered with, what appears to be like an old church pew. So that's probably the
visually looks incredible. It's a sort of course, the overheads with all the bunkering, it just looks an absolute picture, and you just get a little bit excited watching it come Thursday night for us, our time.
Yeah, that drone footage just a lead on this course. The US Open history when actually played at Oakmont. So there's 32 players that are in the field from the last time, which is 2016. Dustin Johnson, your man, Trano. I know you like his work on Instagram.
Mate. He's on fire. He's off-field, mind you, with the missus and a little GQ photo. I don't think it was GQ, but we'll just call it that. Geez, he's looking fresh with the missus. I don't think his golf game is going too well, but we'll talk about that later.
I'm not sure golf's a priority for Dustin, but he's probably checked out, and rightfully so, with the off-field antics at the moment.
Oh, yeah. Well, he deserves the best. As a 2016 champion, you get what you want.
But interestingly, he did win it at 4 under par. So he was around the best player in the world. He's got the skill set back then when he was locked in. So he did go under the card. We're probably predicting anything around even par would be top 5 this year. So, you can go under.
Yep. Yeah, look, the last couple of years have all been under par. I did read a little something the other day where Oakmont and the members and the club itself really want to sort of put a statement in about how difficult this course can be. So I wouldn't be surprised if even par or slightly over gets the job done. We're hearing that the rough is 5 inches long and everyone's talking about the rough. So, I mean, it'll sort of come down to it Thursday when we're seeing the first tee shots hit, but don't be surprised seeing some very big scores.
I like that. That's good for the common man. You know what I mean? Like you said earlier, the 20 unders is just boring. But if you can see a few dummy spits, a few blokes in the rough early, especially Scotty, just trying his hardest just to find a way to stay in it, that'd be nice to see for a viewer.
Oh, it's relatable golf, Trano. It's a bit like you and me hacking it around Riversdale where double bogeys, maybe a par, a triple bogey, or wipe on the old Staplefords. But the last fact on the previous winners at Oakmont, I know we are going back to 1994 with the big easy Ernie Els, and then 07 Angel Cabrera, who's actually done a bit of time in jail.
Yes, he has done a little bit of time, but he just bombs it off the tee, and I think he got himself in a little bit of trouble off the course as well.
What do you do, boys?
Just a few financial issues, a bit of tax evasion or something, a bit of a white-collar crime. But the interesting facts that those 3 players at the time when they won, massive hitters, power game.
Well, you've led me into my question because I've done a bit of research on this, and it's a power play. It's all about the power. And when I think of power, I think of Brooks Koepka, Bryson, these kind of guys, Johnny Rahm. Is there a couple blokes that I haven't mentioned there that just when I say power, you think of them?
Look, there's a few. I do think these players, your Rorys, your Brysons, your Brooks, the guys that do hit it miles off the tee, there's a reason that they're spoken about so often. It is sexy, hitting the ball a long way off the tee. And, when we play golf, it's always pull the driver out of the bag and whoever can hit it furthest generally wins. But look, there are a few sort of sleepers that can hit the ball a long way. Ryan Fox is one of those who won the Canadian Open in a playoff last week, who is sneaky long off the tee. And I suppose leading into this next point is there's a little fallacy, I think, around you have to be accurate off the tee in these Opens. Accuracy obviously helps, but you got to be a long way down there. And if you're hitting driver and you're 30 or 40 metres past some of these shorter hitters on tour that are hitting fairways, if you're getting a pitching wedge on the green compared to a 6 or a 7 iron, it's going to make a lot of difference around being able to stick it on the green and walk away with your par and save your pars rather than making bogeys or worse if you miss the fairway.
That's the magic sauce right there. So just to give you a further example, so if you're big Bryson DeChambeau and you're blasting driver down there and, you miss the fairway, trickle into some thick rough, you still are attacking from maybe 110 yards out with a pitching wedge versus if you're Colin Morikawa, a bit more accurate, but you're back on the fairway from 175 yards, you might have a 6 iron, a 7 iron attacking it. So Elliot's bang on that less, the more steep club that you can go in at the rough with a pitching wedge or some sort of wedge, that's probably in the last 10 years the proven formula for US Open success.
Sounds interesting. So is there anyone else? You mentioned Fox. Is there anyone else that comes to mind?
Look, even you can look at guys like Min Woo Lee who can really, really get the ball out there. They're the sort of guys that you need to look at, as well as their ability. Seb Straka, who we'll get to a little bit later, he's around 30th in terms of drive distance, but there's not a whole heap sort of separating the sort of 10 to 30 to 40 range. But the guys that can really get it out there are your Rorys, your Brysons, your Brookses.
Who's someone that struggles off the tee? Let's reverse it. You just said one. Is there another person that, on paper, just should struggle with this course?
I love watching him, but Jordan Spieth, he's wayward off the tee. Like, he relies on short game brilliance and those butter hands, a bit like you around the greens trying to with the butter hands. But he's wayward. He's left and right. I think if you know you miss, that also helps, which means you can blast it and know if you're missing left, and if that is the miss on that hole. So the ability to shape the ball both ways is probably something that hasn't been spoken about. So DeChambeau and Rory both hit big high draws. Scheffler's probably got the advantage where he can move the ball both ways.
So off the tee though, who's going to be terrible? You still haven't answered me question. I want to know who I'm not betting on this
Kevin
year.
Kisner. I'm not sure if he's even in the field, but he sort of gets his driver out there about 180 metres these days. So look, the guys that are just down the bottom in the betting markets are the guys that don't hit it far enough. And it's as simple as that. It's one of these courses where you've got to be powerful off the tee. And if you're not powerful, you're not going to be in contention come Sunday.
Well, another man not in contention, trainer. Your man, Will the Lemon Zalatoris.
Oh, jeez. He's had more back surgeries than Forbesy, I reckon. He's nowhere since I gave him a pump up. But anyway, I've just written a keyword, powerful. I'm just cooking up my little theory here, boys. I've got someone I've got picked at the end. I'm going to release at the end when we do our tips. But I just keep hearing the word power, and I can't wait to tune in. Let's keep going through. I want to talk about the Aussies in the field. There's 6 of them. And if anyone out there that's been struggling to keep up, because there's a lot of sport going on at the moment, when we're talking about golf, there's 6 Aussies in the field. Can you touch on all of them and how they've been with their form?
Yeah, I'll run through them, then throw to Forbes. You might be able to give us some predictive odds there via PointsBet. And, mate, just speaking of sport, you're doing a great job on those AFL shows, the NBA shows. I'm riding that profit propeller strongly, but the boys are due.
We are due. We are Stewie due. And we're Stewie due to go back-to-back here. We had, imagine that. Rory into the winner of this would be interesting.
And then the boys get up on the profit propeller. But those Aussies in the field, we've got Adam Scott, Jason Day, Cam Davis, Minwoo Lee, and Cameron Smith, and actually Mark Leishman. Let's not forget Leish, who has been a bit of a forgotten man of Australian golf since entering the live sort of field. Jason Day is probably the one where he's probably been the most in-form Australian in the last 12 months for form line. However, struggling with a herniated disc, only played one event since mid-April, so you'd have to question his sharpness and health, Forbesy.
Yeah, I totally agree. And to be honest, he's favourite purely based off the form that he has had over the last 12 months, but I'm more than happy to risk him in terms of the top Aussie markets at PointsBet that we've got available. He's $4, but I'm happy to sort of let him go. And Minwoo Lee's next best, $4.30. Adam Scott, $5. Then you got the Live boys, Smith and Leishman at $5.50, and Cam Davis out at $8.50. But I think Minwoo Lee, there's not a bad bit of value at $4.30. So be one for the punters to get on early.
I like that market. It's pretty juicy, isn't it? And it's funny, like these majors, there's a lot of past results. We used to talk about the past. It counts for nothing, really. It's about, what's next. But for some reason, everyone always goes back to past results. You got to think Minwoo Lee. He's in form out of all of that. And Cam Smith would have to come to mind as the top 2.
Yeah, Cam Smith's a great putter. He hits it far enough. It's just a matter of which Cam Smith shows up, really. Like if he shows up like he did anything like just before he went to the Live Tour, he's right in contention here. But Minwoo Lee, I think, has just got that dog in him, for lack of a better term, playing some pretty good golf and been working on his ball flight as well, which will really, really help him around this course. It's not too many trees, not too much trouble other than the rough. So being able to flight the ball well will hold him in good stead in this tournament.
Yeah, I like Minwoo too as that top-performing Aussie. He's got the swing speed that stacks up with the best of the best. And interestingly, look, he's limited for total starts in US Opens. Obviously, we know he's building his career out nicely, but he was top 5 in 2023 US Open and only a handful of starts. He's hungry, as Forbesy said. I really like him as best place Aussie.
I reckon that might be the best bet of the tournament, boys. The Minwoo is the top Aussie in this one. Is there anyone else you want to talk about? Cam Smith is someone that we just spoke about, but I think Cam Davis is someone that we don't give enough love to, and I feel like he goes all right. Do you want to talk about him?
Well, he plies his trade on the PGA Tour. He chips away. Top 20 on a PGA event's probably, I don't want to say he's ceiling, but that's sort of a consistent result for him. The recent form probably just doesn't stack up for a golf course as brutal as we've spoken about.
It's not like just you and I just rolling out on a Sunday and just, getting out the car and seeing what's happening. First hole, just hole in one. Nothing like that can happen at the US Open.
You're usually running late to the tee time, mate. I'm waiting on the tee box going, where is Trainer?
Well, there are going to be plenty of fun markets that you can bet on this, especially with our friends at PointsBet. And yeah, this is a wonderful US Open we've got in front of us. So before I talk about this offer, I just want to throw this PointsBet cheeky offer for this tournament at you right now. Check this one out.
Take a shot, man.
Since 2000, there have been 22 holes in one at the US Open. 22 perfect tee shots at one of the biggest tournaments in golf. This year at PointsBet, place a pre-tournament bet on the winner of the 2025 Open Championship, and if your player hits an ace during the 4 rounds, you win. That's right. Hit a hole in one, get paid out early. Check your account for personalised max stake limit. PointsBet, built different.
What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.
Oh, how good is that? Hole in one and you're a winner. That means that you can go for a little bit more juice, you know. Instead of going for Scotty, what's he, $3 with PointsBet? That'd be a waste of time. Obviously, personalised stake limits apply to your account. But if you can get a juicy one there and they hit a hole in one, you get paid out a winner. I know it hasn't happened for a while, but as we always say, you're due.
It's a bit exciting if your bloke's 14 over and he can just bump one in and you take your money to the bank and be quite happy you get paid out on that one when he's going to miss the cut.
What are those footy coaches saying, mate? It might not be your day, but you can still have a moment.
That's it. And I used to have a lot of them. when you come off as the sub, mate, you just got to have one moment, maybe one touch, one goal.
You dropped a mark one day, didn't you, mate?
One bad moment. There'd be bad moments, good moments. I don't care as long as you get that hole in one. Let's keep going. I want to talk about the big three, the favourites. We've talked about the Aussies. We've talked about the power game. Let's talk about the favourites in this and why they are the favourites in their form, Dommy boy.
Yeah, we can't dance around it. We've obviously got Rory, Bryson and Scotty. They're inevitable, really. So we'll start with Rory. There are driver issues. He's only had the one top 10 since the Masters win. The form is a bit of a concern since the Masters win, and there are rumours flying out about Rory that, since that career Grand Slam, and I think he's shunned the media, which goes against a lot of what he's been doing in probably the last 2 years as a vocal spokesperson for the PGA Tour. But I think there's a lot of interest in just playing the national opens, and we've seen him commit to the Australian Open for the next 2 years, which is huge. So maybe an impending DP World Tour buyout, well, the reverse of that, so Liv buys out DP World Tour. Who knows? We're drifting a bit, Forbesy.
Yeah, look, he had some driver issues. He had obviously ran into issues where his driver wasn't conforming. So he had to play the new TaylorMade driver. A little bit golf nerdy here, but he had to play the QI35, which he doesn't like. So he'll have the QI10 back in the bag this week. He didn't drive the ball all that well when he won the Masters, but his ability to sort of hit some fantastic recovery shots and get out of trouble, he's long enough to get himself out of trouble and, as we said, have those sort of short wedges into the greens. I'm backing him to bounce back a little bit here. I think he's a decent price based off his recent form. If you're getting this without that, you'd be taking it. So I do think he'll come back this week, and he's sort of had his moments post Masters, but I like him this week. I think he's all right.
It's funny you said that. I just heard he's been struggling with the driver, so I've written his name down and I've crossed it out. He's no chance. He is no chance of winning this tournament. You need to be powerful off the drive, and his driver issues are enough for me. I'm taking him out of the game. It's just crossed him out.
You've done a Stephen May early, mate, because I'm about to give you a couple of statistics.
Oh, boy.
6 times top 10 finishes over the last 10 years. So he's the most consistent performer in US Opens over the last 10 years. And that's solidified with 2 back-to-back finishes in the last 2 years alone. So you just can't write Rory off.
You can't, but I don't think you see many blokes win the Masters and then win the US Open in the same year, do you?
No, you don't. And there's a reason for that. They're both very difficult tournaments to win, but he's a generational talent. A few stats to back up why he's a good chance. He's second shots gained off the tee. He's 11th in putting and 3rd in total shots gained against the field. So just one of these guys that can get it so far out there that the game becomes easier when you're closer to the hole, and he's putting well enough. If he putts well, he'll be thereabouts on Sunday.
Talk to me about the greens just on that. We're talking about off the tee, but we haven't spoken about the greens. How difficult are they compared to the other tournaments around there, all the majors?
Yeah, look, they're lightning fast. They're the fastest that they'll basically have on tour. They're often compared to the greens around Royal Melbourne.
Mate,
so very,
you might as well get concrete out, man. I remember landing one right on the front of the green and just rolled off the back. I said, I give up.
Yeah, look, it's like that. You need to be able to control your ball around this course at Oakmont, and you'll see some people 3-putt, even 4-putt these greens. They are so quick and so hard to hold. And, you'll see the players, and I'm sure a lot of the golf fans out there have already seen, the guys on the practice greens, just how fast these greens are. And it just adds to that test of golf that it isn't once you get it on the green, you can bash it at the hole and two-putt at worst. You really got to think your way through this course.
Just on that, I just want to stay on putting. If I said who are the top 3 in the field at putting, off the top, who would you guys go to?
Well, I actually love Bryson because he's a scientist and not a field player. And on a course like this, the scientist probably stacks up better than the field. And there's actually brilliant, if you've got time in the next day or two before this event starts, Bryson's actually gone and played 18 holes on YouTube. It's a brilliant watch. He shoots even par, 3 putts a few times, talks through his strategy on each hole. It really brings you under the hood there. So I encourage everyone to check that out on YouTube.
I've actually seen him playing with Donald Trump and everything. He's doing some amazing work. I remember him having those shots over his house thinking, is he going to smash a window? And every single time just over the top and just missing. But that is amazing content, that kind of stuff.
He's fantastic, and I have watched that as well. It's sensational to watch, and it really gives a good idea of what the course will be like. But in terms of the best putters on tour, Justin Thomas is right up there. Sam Burns is right up there. They're the guys that once they're on the green really take advantage compared to the rest of the field and saves themselves a lot of shots during a tournament by being able to get hot with the putter with a short stick.
What's Thomas's price, mate? Because just that is my first name, and I don't know. There's Tommy Fleetwood. There's you just mentioned him. I think there's something in there that's now that you mentioned that, I like that he's one of the best putters. How's he go off the tee? Is he handy?
Well, he's had a bit of a reclaim to form. He was sort of lost in the wilderness for a year or two there.
He was. Yeah.
He's a proven major winner. He's got a couple up his sleeve. He's still got that youth. I wouldn't write Justin Thomas off.
Yeah, he's $41 in the market at the moment, and I agree with you. He can sort of play that when he gets hot and really hot. So if he can minimise the damage that he does to himself sometimes off the tee, where he can be a touch wayward at times. Look, there's definitely worse bets out there in the market. I won't talk you about that one, Tommy.
Well, I might be taking that as my value play later on. Let's keep moving through. Bryson obviously won it last year, comes back. How's his form going into this one? He's played the 18 on YouTube.
Yeah.
He's flying. He's probably one of the most lovable blokes in golf at the moment, surely.
Yeah,
one of the great turnarounds in terms of he was hated 5-6 years ago, and now one of the most universally loved players in world golf. So, look, I'd love to see him win it again.
Do we have stats on back-to-back for the US Open? Is it how many times do you reckon you've seen that? And while you get it up, like it's he's a bit tough. I mean, he's right there with everything at the stat. He's long off the. You kind of pumped him up the whole time without saying his name. Everything you've said you need to do at this course in Pittsburgh.
Yep.
It sounds like him, but back to back scares me.
Brooks is the only one that's done it recently from memory. I think you'll have to go a long, long way back for anyone. It's a tough thing to do.
It scares me that. I mean, it might be top 5, but just back to back, it's rare. Staying away.
It's tough. So with Bryson, it's the driving distance combined with the accuracy. So that's what gets him in the ball game. His putting stats are great. What slightly let him down in the most recent majors, which are the Masters and the PGA Championship, was actually his wedge game. He left himself with too much to do with the wedges. He obviously gets a lot of looks with wedges because he's blasting that ball so far out there. But he is a 2-time US Open winner. So his power play where he just blasts it out there, backs himself in the rough because from that steep angle of attack, and then he's scientific on the green. So it's pretty hard to go past Bryson.
Well, back to back doesn't happen much. He might come second, Dommy boy. I've just wiped his name out as well. Bryson can't win in my books only because of the back to back. He'll come second. All right, Scotty Scheffler, just tell me he ain't winning this tournament. We need some value. We shouldn't be so negative to this guy, but I think he's a champion. But I think I read a stat the other day that he's been on top for 100 and something days or weeks, and I think Tiger's about 500 weeks. So it just shows you how good Tiger was in his prime.
Tiger was unbelievable, but Scotty is as good as we've seen since Tiger.
Yep.
And I don't think there'll be many that can argue that. He's won 3 of his last 4 tournaments. He does everything well. He's not the sort of guy that's going to go out there and play really sexy golf and shoot a ridiculous number. He's just going to have, on a normal tournament, 4 or 5 under each round, and all of a sudden on a Sunday afternoon, he's 2 shots clear and everyone's crumbling around him. And I think, similarly, I think that's the sort of thing that'll get him, if he is to win this tournament, he's just going to shoot even par 3-4 days in a row, maybe go a couple under or 1 or 2 over, but he's not going to make mistakes. You know that he isn't going to be the reason that he loses the tournament. Others will lose it and he'll just be thereabouts picking up the pieces. He's a great putter now. He's fantastic off the tee. He's accurate. He's long enough. Unfortunately, at $3.80, I can't do much to talk you out of it. But look, I do think he lacks a bit of personality for golf, but he's very good at it.
Yeah, well, 380 for a tournament like this, it's very short. But that just shows you how good this bloke is.
It's the lowest odds, I think, since one of Tiger's in his heyday. So, yeah, Forbes is bang on. He's just so consistent. He's going to be lurking. So it's almost like day one, day two, you check the leaderboard, whoever's winning, but then you straight away go, well, how far back's Scotty? And you know he's not going to be too far back. He'll chip away, won't make too many mistakes. And then by Sunday, he's going to be right at the pointy end.
It scares me. Maybe it's more of a live bet opportunity. You know, when they have the cut and you just see where he is and you just say, well, I'll take the $8 if he's outside the top 10.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to let him go around the first round or two, and then potentially cover a couple of other bets by backing him after rounds 1 or 2. I think I can't see him coming out there and shooting 3 or 4 under in the first day and being a runaway leader. Happy to eat my words, but I can't see that happening. So I'm more than happy to wait a round or two before I have a crack at Scotty.
Smart punting.
And if we throw stats out the window for 1 second, the reason why we think, well, we know Scheffler's so good and he's such a good chance to win this event, it's the lack of dummy spit. So his cool demeanour at the US Open, you hit the green, you hit your spot, ball rolls off the green, you end up in the rough. He'll just get on with it. It doesn't faze him. Other players are chill hat and he's having the big dummy spit bit like you, Traino.
Oh, yeah, I'll be having a dummy spit for sure.
but Scotty, he's unflappable. So, there's going to be times where other players will just throw the cot out. Maybe John Rahm, that could be a deficiency of the big Rambo, but Scotty won't beat himself is exactly what Forbesy said.
Who else comes to mind with dummy spits? Like, I'd love to just see who's the first bloke that's going to have a dummy spit?
Tyrrell Hatton, probably off the first tee. He's one of the great hot mic players of all time. Do yourself a favour and jump on YouTube and just have a quick look at some of the Tyrrell Hatton dummy spits across the journey. It's he's one of us on the golf course. He doesn't miss and he blames everyone but himself, including his club. So it's
all right, well, who might be missing the cut? I've just written down another one.
You know what they say, Trano? If you miss long or short, it's the caddy's fault. Left or right, it's the coach's fault. So the player's never at fault.
That's great. Well, I need someone like that when I play. Let's go through the next tier of favourites. We've got John Rahm. We've got Schauffele there. You've got Morikawa. You've already talked about. My man Brooks Koepka, I feel like you've hardly touched on him. Justin Thomas, Victor Hovland, all those kind of guys, and maybe a bit of Shane Lowry. I wouldn't mind you talking about that crop because they've been good. And outside of the top 3, a lot of people listening to the Aus American Aces Golf Show want some value, and a lot of those guys are very, very good at golf.
I'll start. I love Lowry. He's actually my prediction to win this event.
Ooh.
Yep, and we can double down on that. But first of all, there's good karma. So after his mate Rory won at the Masters, he broke a rule and asked to buy a case of wine. And the Masters, whoever's the staffer there, said that's not special circumstances. And Lowry demanded a case of wine. And I actually looked up the wine, and I'm going to murder the pronunciation, but the 1990 Chateau Latif Rothschild or something like that, training with a bit of French, around 4K a bottle, 12 bottles equals a case. 48K a wine to celebrate his great mate Rory winning the Masters.
That is a good friend. That is a great friend, and he's been in good form. So that's well. What's his odds for that?
He's playing well. He's $34 to win.
That's nice.
And about 1,000 to 1 to shout me a bottle of that wine. I would have thought, as a fellow good redheaded man. But no, look,
I don't think you need any more wine after that golf trip. I think there was enough wine after that 10-day golf trip that you had, King.
There's a lot of boxes that he ticks. We've actually had a bit of sharp money early on Shane Lowry, and it wasn't Dommy's money either that moved the price into 34s. But look, he's very good. He's 5th shots gained total on the field, approach to green. So, with those clubs, short clubs in hand and his irons, he's laser-like at the pins, and he's 2nd. So gets over a shot a round or a tournament on the field. So there's a lot of boxes that he does tick, and I think he'd be a very popular winner. That's
a nice prediction. Dommy, if you can go back to back, this would be all time. You've obviously tipped the winner of the Masters.
Yeah.
And now you're going for his friend at $36. That's what you said, wasn't it, Forbesy?
Yeah, he's $34. The only thing that will hurt him a little bit is he's just not ultra long off the tee. He's 143rd on tour this year, but he does make up for it with those with his iron play.
All right, Tommy. Well, you tipped the winner of the Masters. Now tip the winner of the US Open. Look the barrel down the eye and tell us who's going to win.
The winner of the 2025 US Open will be Shane Lowry. He's primed. He's ready. He shouted his great mate Rory a case of wine after
Good
the
karma.
Masters. Great karma. Let's go, Shane Lowry.
Oh, that is big. There you go. And $34. So mind you, that is a bit of juice. None of this $7 stuff with your man last time. What about you, Forbes? Have you got a prediction? You can look down the barrel and just give everyone a little winner.
Yeah, we haven't touched on him yet, but Seb Straka for me, I think he's playing really well this year. He's already won twice this year. And his stats sort of back that up as well. He's won 4 times on the tour, and he's had 5 top 10s this year. So he's a man in form. He's a sensational putter. Approach to the greens, I think he's 3rd on tour as well. So he's the sort of guy that if his driver's on, he'll be right there this Sunday, and he's $41 as well. So a little bit of value, and definitely one to, I think, throw in your top 5s, your top 10s, all those sorts of markets. So I like him.
Is he a chance at a hole-in-one?
Everyone's a chance of a hole-in-one, mate. You could get out there and you'd be a chance of a hole-in-one, and that's one of the great things about this market is you can back anyone, and they're a genuine chance. But he is very, very good with his irons. So
second best iron player in the world, obviously behind Scotty. So put an iron in his hand on those par 3s, you'll be getting your money back.
I like that. Well, do you want my tip, boys?
I'm not sure we do after your efforts on the Masters, but throw one at us anyway, Trey.
Well, my tip is Rory and Bryson will not win, and the winner will be an Australian. There you go. The winner will be an Australian. It'll be Minwoo Lee. He's going to cook. I tipped him for the Masters. He's just testing me. He's testing my loyalty. He'll come out and he will just, look at the F1 at the moment. Who's dominating? It's an Aussie. It's going to go to the golf course this week. We're going to go to Pittsburgh, and Minwoo Lee is going to get the chocolates and put us back on the map again. Minwoo Lee is going to win the 2025 US Open, boys. You haven't spoken about him either.
He's $126, so it's you're getting a bit of value. But
of all time, I've tipped the winner at the Melbourne Cup next to Forbesy, and that was $120. So why don't we go again with Minwoo Lee? We've got to stick with our Aussies. What do I know about golf? I'm just going for some value here, but we haven't really pumped up many Aussies to win, and I think we're due. So that's my one. But if you're really tuning in right now, you're just avoiding what I say because I've got no idea. But these two gentlemen next to me are red hot. And as we, if anyone missed the last one, Dommy tipping the winner. And a lot of, as I said, Stephen May copped a bit, but there was a lot of other people on TikTok that were just saying you had no idea. So we love the receipts. Let's get to our best Aussie quickly. Just tip your best Aussie for this one because there is a nice market.
So on the same train as you, Traino with Minwoo Lee.
About $4 there as well.
$4.30, second in the market. So I think that's a pretty solid bet.
We're all aligned on that. That's a nice one we'll put on the American Aces Hub. Now let's go to the top 20. We did this multi last time. Let's all pick one player that'll be top 20 and we'll put it together. Who you got, boys?
I like Corey Connors, Canadian. Hits the ball well, just solid.
Yep. Victor Hovland for me. Again, just great ball striker. Very likeable bloke on tour as well, so we'll throw him in.
Love that. I had Tommy Fleetwood. I'm going to change. I know he's a top 10 machine, boys, but you've sucked me in with Justin Thomas, so I'm going to change from Tommy Fleetwood to Justin Thomas. I think, you sucked me in with a few of his stats, and this marries up nicely.
Anything's better than Zalatoris, mate. We'll play on with that.
Now, bold prediction time. Who is going to miss the cut?
I'm going with Ludwig. There's something not clicking off the tee. He's got a great swing and he's an up-and-comer, but unfortunately, Ludwig, not your week.
Oh, boy.
Tommy Fleetwood for mine, put a line through him. His hair's too long and he's not hitting it well enough.
That's why I took him out. I saw Forbes' run sheet, so I said he's out. Have a think about who I'm going to take. Just think about Instagram and all these photo shoots. A man that's won it in 2016. Who do you think I'm about to say?
Oh, your man.
DJ.
Dustin Johnson. This bloke has checked out. Have you seen some of his social media work lately with the missus? I mean, it's borderline R-rated, this stuff. This is unbelievable from Dustin. His head is nowhere. He's no chance of making the cut, boys. That is my lock, Dustin Johnson.
He's got his hands full off field, doesn't he?
He has his, and the rest, Tommy, if you know what I'm talking about. He is no chance. Have a look at Instagram and you'll know what I mean. Boys, that is all I've got on the run sheet. There are some bold predictions, but I'm looking forward to this one. When's this one kicking off? The exact time? Do you guys have a rough time there? It's Thursday night. It's normally late, isn't it? Australian Eastern Standard?
The coverage is pretty good. You might be able to get the first group teeing off. We're running an online predictive comp on our Instagram at Clutch & Co. So if you want to get involved there, there's plenty of prizes and giveaways happening too.
That is good. Well, just speaking of Clutch & Co., it's just
How good do we
you
look?
gave me. I mean, this is 10 out of 10. What are we wearing? These I've never seen your designs like this. Talk to us about these ones.
Yeah, new tour polos. We've just gone with a bit more pop and playfulness. So yeah, you're looking fantastic, boys.
They were sensational over on the golf trip, nice and light. So the sweat basically was just drawn off us. It was sensational.
The moisture wicking.
Well, they are elite, and these are some of your best tour polos. So anyone that loves their golf, get online, clutchandco.com, and use our discount code ACES. You get 20% off. You don't need a discount anyway. It's that well priced. This man is on fire, and if you can see the wide shot, you can see all the range and more. So make sure you head online at clutchandco.com.au and check them out. Use that discount code ACES, and you'll be looking elite. Well, boys, that's all I've got. Short, sharp. You guys are unbelievable. I look forward to seeing this go online and see everyone's comments. If you are watching this on YouTube, please get in the comments. We know that everyone loves golf that watches this, and we want to see your predictions. We want your thoughts on some of the stuff we've said. It's always great stuff. We'll get that up online. And as Dommy said, there's a competition. If you want some free merch, just check that out at Clutch & Co on Instagram. All right, lads. Well, just to recap there, we've gone through a fair bit. If anyone wants to just run back, but it's the course, the history, the tips, power play, keyword. And Scotty Scheffler is very consistent, so he'll probably be top 5, no doubt. That's all I've got. Anything else?
Sit back, enjoy it, watch a few dummy spits. Great time to watch golf.
Love it. And you, Forbesy, any
Yeah,
more
look,
trips coming up?
No, I'm here for a while, unfortunately, freezing the cold in Melbourne. But look, I think Harris English at $67. We didn't talk too much about him, but I think there's worse plays out there than Harris English at 67.
I love it. Just throw 15 darts and one will stick, and we'll clip it up and we'll put it on social media and we'll just say that's what we said. All right, guys, thank you for your support. Hit subscribe, share it to a golf nuffy that loves this stuff, and we'll see you next week. Hopefully one of our predictions got up. Cheers.